red meat bird before. I'll have to try those. I know that there's a couple of emu farms not too far from here, so I could probably abscond with some from somewhere. I could definitely procure myself. I hope I'm not making you hungry. I do like a lot of veggies. In fact, next year I think I'm going to have a very large garden. You ever watch the program Alaska Last Frontier, the Kilcher Clan? I know there's another one out there, Alaska Bush People. Now, I've seen a couple of episodes of the Bush People. They live in Alaska too. But here's the thing. It's called this homesteading or subsistence lifestyle. These people don't have real jobs as we know them, but they obviously are making money. But they trade. But I just have a real interesting question. I don't know how this possibly happened. Now, I don't know the name of the program with the Bush People. I don't know that family's name. I don't know any of their. They use nicknames like Bear and whatever. I don't know. They look like animals, but anyway. Now the mom and dad of the Alaska Bush People, they sound pretty much normal. Not much of an accent of any kind, but the kids, I mean, they're supposed to be speaking English, but they have subtitles for you to be able to understand them. I don't know what the hell they're speaking. But they're not speaking Alaskan. If you want to talk Alaskan, like Sarah Palin or anything, that type of accent, they're not speaking it. I don't know where the hell these kids come from, but they're not speaking that. I don't know what but my question is, well, if they're not around other people a lot, okay, I can understand them getting off into this kind of strange, weird act, because all the kids have this similar accent. Why is it then? Now you have to understand that the Kilcher clan, they're the father of the patriarchs of the family now. Their father, Mr. Kilcher, the original person who started the whole thing, he came from a Nordic country. Was it Norwegian or Dutch or something? Anyway, he's an immigrant from there, and he spoke English rather well because they have old film of him and audio of him talking. He spoke rather well, but he still had that Nordic accent. But none of the kids or grandkids have I don't even detect an Alaskan accent. Where did they learn to speak such perfect English with little or no accent, as we know, neutral with a neutral accent, basically? If all they did was live on this family Alaskan homestead plantation thing, I don't know. And how do they pay their taxes? Or what are the taxes in Alaska? Property taxes on this type of stuff. They got acres and acres of land. I'm seriously thinking, look, if you can get away with doing that, I would. I'm just wondering if I can do that here in New Hampshire. I'm just wondering out loud. Wouldn't it be, get off somewhere, off the grid, in New Hampshire somewhere. I'd probably still have to pay property taxes. I don't know. Anyway, getting off the track on this Tuesday, which is acting more like a free-for-all Friday, simply because we have a holiday coming up. Just saying. It is. From thehill.com. But if you want to start, let me just say, if you want to start a homestead, and you want to live more on your own terms, let me tell you some of the states that that seem to be very accepting of that lifestyle, and New Hampshire does not seem to be one of them. And there are not many states left, believe it or not. I mean, most states have what they call a homesteading act, but it's not what you're thinking. It's not like you'd be able to live like you see on those two programs on TV in Alaska. Obviously, you have Alaska. Another state would be Montana, that you'd be able to do something like that. But believe it or not, Dakotas are not a good option. Although I understand that Oklahoma is an option. Now, I don't live in these places, but if you live in those places and you know your laws better than obviously I do, but that might be something you'd want to look into. So you've got Oklahoma, you got Montana, and of course you've got Alaska. And of course, if you just want to leave the country, then just head towards the northern territories of Canada. You know, in the old Yukon West, as it were. Then nobody's going to bug you up there. Kind of like living in Alaska. Oklahoma is a little bit more civilized. Montana you could probably get away with because there are a lot of nut jobs in Montana. But the big open spaces and everything, you could probably get away with Montana. And I don't. Places like the Rocky Mountain states like Colorado and Utah, that might be a little bit tougher. In places like Idaho and, other places, the upper Midwest, it's just all farmland, so you wouldn't be able to get away with that. But Montana, Big Sky Country, yeah. The northern territories of Canada, Alaska, and possibly Oklahoma. I don't know why Oklahoma, but I understand that's maybe because everybody's got horses out there, I guess. I don't know. TheHill.com. Talking about a dichotomy. And talking about hypocriticalism. Hypocriticalism. If that's not a word, I just made it up. I just created a new word. Hypocriticalism. Can you say that 2 times fast? Can you say that 1 time fast? Hypocriticalism is the hypocrisy of the Obama administration. White House tries to shift terrorism debate from refugees. From the refugee. There's nothing to be afraid of with these refugees. There's nothing to be afraid of here. We have no credible threats. Oh, wait. We're going to issue a worldwide travel alert. There's no credible threat, but hey, you never know. You gots to be careful, Could be a terrorist that comes and pounces on your plane or your boat or something like that. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you got it. You know. It could be anything. Anything at all. So just be careful. Worldwide terror. I mean, you could be going to that, hey, yeah, you're going to be going to Jordan or to Iraq, and your plane will get hijacked. So they can fly it into a dune or something. Yeah, it could happen. Never know. A White House, sand dune, in the desert. Going to Saudi Arabia. Maybe you're going to, wouldn't that be so? You get on a flight to go to Iran. I don't know why you'd go to Iran, but just just saying, you get on a flight going to Iran. The plane gets hijacked by Iranians, maybe. It's not like it hasn't happened. And they fly the plane into a building in Tehran. I don't know. Is that morbid to think of? I don't know. Might as well. Syria is... ISIS is looking for people to help them repair captured military aircraft. And you're thinking, well, yeah, of course, because they can't fix the stuff themselves. But you have to, they want the aircraft to work, not so they can use it to fight, but to take a page out of the end of the war in the Pacific with the Japanese. Yeah, they want to do their version of kamikazeism. I just heard that earlier this evening, that evidently they want to have suicide, you have suicide bombers. Might as well have suicide flyers. Well, they've already had suicide flyers. It was called 9/11, 2001. So they want to be able to use these broke down, captured military aircraft to have suicide flyers. They obviously can't call them kamikaze pilots because they're not Japanese. There's got to be some other word. I'm sure that there is. Anyway, so we're going to have to watch out for that. So kamikaze or suicide flyers, suicide bombers, suicide flyers. How do you defeat people who are willing to die? Well, how do you defeat them? Well, people have asked the question, Rod, how do you defeat people who are willing to die? Well, I think the answer is actually pretty accurate, pretty easy. You cut off the head. Look, those people, those are the ones that really don't necessarily want, because if they wanted to die, they would have already, run around. They've already blown themselves up, but they don't want to die. They want to send all these younger people out there and now start convincing, young women, girls to be suicide bombers because, we're all, except for the Obama administration, we're all paying attention to these young fighting age males who seem to be the bulk of terrorists around the globe. So everybody's paying attention to them, and except for surprise, late night attacks in cities that people have no governmental right to carry a firearm, it's hard for them to get and carry out their operations and get such huge numbers. So they're talking about, let's get some females. Let's convince and brainwash some females to do this. And so we'll probably start seeing an increase of female bombers, suicide bombers. But this is something new. If you want to stop this type of activity, you got to find and cut off the leadership. Because those are the people that don't want to die. But if you kill them off, well, they're not out there, trying to recruit and tell other people that they have to die. Because, who's going to lead them? So cut off the head. And I have no problem with that. I have no problem with surgical strikes that find the leaders of these terrorist groups and taking them out. I have no problem with that whatsoever. That's what you do. That'll end the war quicker than fighting the stupid jihadists who really believe that they want to die anyway, so they can get to their 70 Vestal virgins, whatever. Again, I explained last night why I think that's not heaven or paradise, but that's torture. Because they got to keep doing it over and over and over. And evidently that once you have the virgin, Allah will make them a virgin again the next day. So it's not like they're, because I wondered what happens in all eternity if you get rid of, if you go through all 70 virgins, they're not virgins anymore, right? Well, evidently, what it is that, you'll have your virgin and you'll be able to have afterlife sex with this virgin who won't be a virgin anymore, but the next day, however long a day is in the afterlife, I don't know, but the next day they'll be a virgin again. Allah will make them a virgin again. So it's kind of reminds me, it would be like the season that I watched, last season I watched of American Horror Story, the Coven. In the end, where everybody has their hell, their nightmare, and it just repeats over and over again for eternity. That would seem to me that would be the problem of having a virgin turn a virgin again, because every day you'd be doing the same thing. And you know what they say? You can't do that kind of thing all the time. And that's just torture, because too much of a good thing. Too much of a good thing, obviously, is not that much of a, and that includes, is not much of a good thing, and that includes sex, obviously. So having a virgin every day or repeat, I don't think that'd be good. We'll be back in just a second.